What's up, y'all? Mark Stunna. Top 5 things I like. Let's get into it. Number 1, the quality is so much better on UFC 2 versus UFC 1. The lighting, the camera angles, the camera work, phenomenal. Night and day. Loved it. Number 2, the UFC shirt that pistol-toting John McCarthy was wearing. That's hard. I wish I had that. That probably goes for a lot. Side note, for all my old vintage stuff I like, I rock a lot of it, unless it's going for a lot. Because then, when I think about like, well, I'd rather have $200 or this shirt, I'm normally taking the $200. Because I normally rock these wife beaters and jorts. If I'm going out, if I got something going on, hey, I'll put it on. But besides that, wife beaters, plain white tees, we're good to go. Today's sponsor is brought to you by coffee. I put some brown sugar and cinnamon in this little espresso I got. It's really good. I'm gonna get some honey tomorrow and it's gonna change the game. All right, number 3, faster pace of matches. At first, I didn't really think I liked. That was the first thing that I put down as a dislike, was how fast they was going. No intros, just quick to the point. They getting to it a lot faster than they did for UFC 1. First, I was like, yeah, it's going to be real sped up, like kind of rushed. But then the way the matches were turning out, they were like a lot longer than all the UFC ones and a lot more grapple heavy. So it just wasn't the razzle dazzle we got to see some of in UFC 1. So with that, it grew on me. Number 4. Things that I like. John McCarthy looks like a chunky Sal Volcano. No further questions. Number 5, Remco Pardell sparing Orlando. He could have done whatever he wanted to do to that man. There was no such thing as an early stoppage in UFC 2. Unless they didn't throw in the towel or he wasn't limp, they wasn't stopping it. He went limp. They still didn't stop it. Dude had to say, hey, he's out. And then they finally was like, okay, fight's over. Top 5 things I dislike about UFC 2. No eye gouging was called. They was getting in there. Hey, no harm, no foul. Hey, harm, no foul. Number 2, BJJ is rampant. So what, you're a wrestler now? Everybody seen Horace Gracie do his thing. He did his thing. But now everybody wants to be a grappler. Kickboxing? I'm a grappler now. Number 3, BJJ glazing. The announcers was calling someone stand-up ground the above-the-ground game. What is that? You got stand-up, you got ground game. You don't got above-the-ground game. Number 5, the camera was doing corner shots like panning over to Gordo or somebody's coach and you missing out on the action. And I don't feel like they had the time in between a playback to see exactly what was about to happen. So if you know you're just missing something. Like there was definitely some big shots that just got panned over and you wondering what you missed. This is not the WWE. Even then you can put it in like a smaller screen. Maybe not at the time though, but you could put it in a smaller screen to see like what's going on over there. So you could still see the fight. It's time for Mark's Silly Corner. First, Rich, the G-Man Goins, did not sound happy to be there. He's like, yes, and then he started reading the people's names twice at the end. I like Resident Evil. I feel like having certain people there like that, and then the one announcer in the UFC 1 is kind of like in the original cut of Resident Evil where they had the really bad music whenever they went downstairs. And it's like you trick somebody into thinking you can do your job when you're over here just hammering down on a piano like, oh yeah, that's good, that's good. Y'all don't know anything about piano, so trust me, I'm really good at it. And then just laying a bomb. That's the G-Man right there. Oh yeah, I'm a great announcer, guys. Mark Stunna. He didn't even have that much. Just like, Mark Stunna. They was allowing nut shots. They thought on it. It's like, okay, no eye gouging, no biting, nut shots. Why not? Fah! That's that Super Mario jumping up instead of hitting a brick. It's your goober. And if you're going to allow it, they going to do it. Hey, they did it. Dave Levicki looks like the pizza guy meme. The New Yorker. Weird facial structure. Let me pull that up so you can see. Dave Levicki did the elusive double punch. I've only seen that a handful of times watching UFC. Like it's a rarity and I get fired up when I see it just because it don't happen much. It's very animated. That's a Power Rangers move for sure, but it's different. I'm here for it. When Levicki was fighting Johnny Rhodes pants kept falling down. Ref was going back there trying to yank him up. Looked like he's trying to give him a wedgie while he's getting ground and pound. That was maybe wear your belt with your gi. Maybe that's why they do it. You've seen a lot of ass crack, a lot more than you'd like to on a late night. Also, the Levicki vs. Rhodes fight was the longest in UFC history up to that point. Probably because half the time was McCarthy yanking his draws up, but still, we get into the longer bouts. The fourth fight was the Freak versus the Luster. The Freak was the first showcase of Russian Sambo in the UFC. I knew when I seen Robert Lucario's ass crack when he was warming up, Orlando was about to beat the brakes off that boy. As soon as I seen that, he gonna get arrested for 10 pounds of crack outside of the event. Seen that, exhaled, shook my head. Hey, it's about to be over. Halfway through, my stream switched to Portuguese. I don't know what that was about. When me and my cousin Dakota was young, if we were up too late, our Aunt Brenda would put on a movie, but she'd put it in Spanish. And we'd be like, Aunt Brenda's like, not English or something. And she'd be like, oh, no, y'all are probably just tired or something. And then if we was ever napping during the day, she'd put the English on when we were sleeping, and we'd wake up and be like, oh, that was very weird. So anytime I heard a different language, I thought I was sleepy. So I kind of reminisced on that of like, I don't know no Portuguese. Shout out to him though. Patrick Smith had every white belt's dream of spamming guillotines and being successful with it. Forever did a day of BJJ. I knew how to crank that mug. So anytime I got in a little grappling, hey, every time I'm going to yank and crank. Patrick Smith got excited about that. And hey, it was working for a minute too. But then he met Royce Gracie. Whether it's 1994 or 2024, people hate to see a dominant grappler. Royce Gracie was out there wearing them boys out, and he's getting booze. Which also, little ground wrestling, hey, it's not for everybody. If you don't like MMA, go watch Muay Thai. It's simple. To be clear on that, I'm talking about Royce Gracie fighting the much longer Remco. We got to see a grappling clinic. Also, BJJ is crazy because somebody can throw a couple 1-2s and they're going to be a lot better off as a grappler than a striker looking like a fish on the water once they get took down. Also, after that fight, did Remco throw his own arm up or was McCarthy confused? It's a lot harder to find facts for UFC 2 than it is one that's not like just common knowledge or even too much besides just watching it for real. So what I did come up with is that was the only 16-man tournament. Not before, not after was it ever done again.